Hi, I'm Professor Jeff Lane with the American Judo and Jiu-Jitsu Federation, and with all of this coronavirus stuff happening around the country, unfortunately a lot of our dojos have had to close their doors, and so senseis are looking for ways to train away from the dojo, possibly have your students train. So I'd like to offer this video. If you feel like sharing it with your students, feel free. If you've trained with me for a while, you know that I'm big on stance and footwork. Sadly, we don't have time for my stance class today, so we'll have to take that up on another video. And if you do, so what we're going to focus on today is entries for Nagi. And if you're fortunate enough, like I am, to have a training partner like Kwai Chang here, you can just set them up and you can just practice your entries with your partner. But he's a little short for me, so I'm going to show you, in case you don't have a good training partner at home, I'll show you another way where you can set up in your living room and practice this footwork. So when I started jiu-jitsu with Senior Professor Lamar Fisher, he had tees like this set up at the dojo for us to practice our footwork with. So it's easy enough to set some tape, just move the couch out of the way, put some tape on the floor, and you'll be able to check your footwork to make sure you're doing what you intend to do. The first entry I want to do is what Professor Fisher started us with, and that is just a simple cross step. So from here, you would step across, back step in, pivot on the balls of your feet. And when you get done, you want to have your left foot behind the right foot, and you want to be centered. So I'm a little bit off there. I need to practice a little bit more. So again, it would be a right foot step across, back foot step in, and pivot. Again, I've got to work on that because I'm a little bit off. So that was the way Professor Fisher taught the entry for basic Nagi. Professor Estes had a different little, Professor Bud Estes had a little different approach, where from here, he would cross step and step across this way and enter. And again, I want to be centered on the line with my left foot behind the right foot, kind of a deal. So again, that entry would be from stepping across here, would be a left foot across, step in and pivot. And again, look at your feet, make sure they're where you want to be. If you want to jazz those up a little bit, Professor Hubbard, Frank Hubbard, had a different approach to it. For the first one, Professor Fisher, rather than just simple cross step, you would literally jump in. And you would lead with your heel, and you drive your heel into the ground. That'll snap your hip around. So if you lead heel entry, boom, that'll get you in quicker. And then the same with Professor Estes's version. The way Professor Hubbard would change would be, instead of stepping across, you would lead with your heel across. And that snaps your hip around a little faster. And so again, the juiced up version of the cross step would be heel lead, drop your hips in, and then check your feet, see how you're doing. Got to work on that a little bit. And so how many times should you practice this? Well, 1,000, start with 1,000. You don't have to do them all the night, but that's a good start. And so now we want to practice some uchikomi. So we're going to go outside, because we're going to need to do that outside. So for uchikomi, these are entering exercises where you put a little power into it. All you need is an old bicycle tube and another training partner that you can attach to that's firm and will give you a little resistance. And you can practice all of those same entries. You could do the right foot in across Fisher and come in and drive. You could do prosthesis here and drive. You can do the heel lead here and drive. You can do cross step lead and drive. And so what I recommend is you do something like this. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And how many times? Start out 20 with each of those left, then 20 each of those right, and work up to 100 from there. So now we're going to go back inside and work on our foot sweeps. So now we're going to work on something I like to call TikTok, again from Professor Frank Hubbard, where I got it initially, and we're going to work on our foot sweeps. And I will say that it helps if your training partner has 2 left feet, as I do when you're doing foot sweeps, because it makes it much easier to do. But for now, we're just going to play TikTok. We're going to walk back and forth like this. My partner's going to walk back and forth with me, and if I want to throw sasayashi, I'm just going to practice stopping it there for the foot sweep. So again, we're going to play back and forth this way, and when the time is right, you're just going to stop it. Oops, oh, I forgot. I missed his foot. Sometimes we miss. That way. So stop this foot, right at the top of the foot. If you're doing the ashirai, it'll be a little bit different. You'll play TikTok again. And then at just the right time, you sweep it sideways, and they'll go down for you. So again, Yashirai would look more like this. This way here. Now, if you want to do Sasayashi, we're going to need to change our opponent here a little bit, and we're going to go the other side. We're going to go this way. As we did before. So it works left and right-handed. You always work left and right-handed. For Sasayashi, this way here, and for Yashirai, this way here. And so it comes across that way. And so again, one more Yashirai. This way here across. Yashirai to me is a very soft foot sweep. You do want to be careful. I want to go back. I forgot to mention one thing. When you're doing this entry, you want to be careful about being too close to uki. If I do, you'll notice where I was doing my entry was I end up about here, where I'm a little bit in front of uki. That way I'm not in there too close. But if I do this, if I come in and put my foot where it wants to be a dip, and I end up here, now I'm standing on uki's foot, and it's very hard to throw when you're standing on their foot. So that's it for now. Those are some entries you can practice. You can practice these at your own home, and they're very safe. And how many times you do them? 1,000. Start with 1,000 each, and then work up from there. Not all in one night. Thank you.